That's the first thing. I remove this little piece right here. You can just pull that off. I take a T25. Now I'm going to turn it counterclockwise to open it up to remove this trim piece right here. So hopefully that may just remove this whole thing. There's a connector there. I'm going to leave connected. And then I have two. Let's see, can I do it right now? No, I got two. One, and I don't know if you can see my fingers. I need to charge my phone actually. Poor time to do it, but 1 and 2. Two T20s I got to remove. And again, just so I can show you, there's the first one. Count it clockwise. Again, I'm going to break it, and there's one right above it too. You have to do. Here's the one above it. I'm going to do the same thing again. And I'm going to take that one out now. Drop the glove box, give me more access. I kind of pulled the bottom and then pulled the top here, and this should eventually let me wiggle the whole thing off because it's off its clips. Can I wiggle? Maybe I'll put this back up now. Let's see here, because I think I'm just getting caught by the carpet right here. Hold on. So if yours gets a little stuck, just reach behind the bracket and kind of push it away from the assembly that it's tied to, and it's going to let this come right off, and it's going to expose that side. And as you see here, we have some clips, 1, 2, third clip, and then the 2 holes that we had on the other side. I'm just going to set this up here very gently. And now I can see access to this trim piece. I don't know if I moved the whole radio, but I just want to get this trim piece off because I'm going to do it individually. So what I've done is I've loosened both of these clips on this side. I could probably chance it and get it off without taking out this other piece, but we want to do this properly so that we don't have any broken parts that's going to rattle and make noise. So let's continue. So on this side, you have a little hole you'll lock fill, like right in there. You're going to take your T25 again. I'm going to try to do this with the phone in my hand. If I can, I will. If I cannot, let's see if you can see me. And I'm trying, but I'm going to put the phone down. Wait, there it is. Right there. That one's a little tighter. All right. So I got it off. The piece is over there. I just want to show you this really quickly. To get this second part out, there's these little tabs right in here to just hold it. You see the other side of the tab right there on each side. And I'm going to pull this unit out because I'm also going to be taking apart this to cover the trim up with too. Okay, so now I have it pressed along the front here and along the sides how I want it. I'm going to have to do a little kind of like cuts here so I can fold it. I'll have access even in the middle, but I'm going to take this heat gun here I have, and I'm going to make sure that I don't have any bad fingers down here. You're not going to even see these parts, but I'm just being a little extra, and I want to make sure it's perfect. So my first piece is over there, just settling. This piece right here was a little scary to get these my buttons out. Oops, Jesus. My buttons out because, you know, these are very plastic pieces. These are very durable. Actually, believe it or not, they're not too bad. I didn't scuff them too bad or anything like that, but they came out pretty easily. You just kind of have to pull one way, the other way. I wouldn't use a tool too much. It's more of a hand feel thing. Just to be on the safe side. So now I can now move on to my next piece, cut it, and then actually try to go ahead and put it on. So we're working really hard to get rid of this access, anything access, because it will affect the functionality of the switch. So like I make my first cut here, I'm making sure, and some of this will still bubble a little bit until you put the heat gun on it again. But I am currently just making sure I have the edges set before I make my final cut. Now I'm going to just use scissors for now and make sure that backside, because it's going to... Alright, so here's the second piece. Still got a couple little hide marks here that I'm just going to pop down, but it looks pretty darn good. Can't wait to see what it looks like when it goes inside the car. But again, this takes a little fiddling with, I'm sure, a little heat gun. Make sure you press down all your corners and your areas. Make sure your buttons go in. The buttons went back in successfully. and they work. So we're on to the HVAC system. Okay, so preliminary, it looks really good. It looks actually more in unison. This unit looks like it's going to be together. The bottom piece is there. And now I have to do my HVAC system, which I have to find a T6. I have the parts, I have the actual tools somewhere. I just can't find them. I'm going to check my wife's Cayenne now. So yes, in fact, this is a T6 I'm working on. I have 1, 2, 3, and 4, and I should be able to take off this faceplate. So next I'm going to work on these additional board screws right here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 8 or 9, something like that. All the ones that you see there that look like they're attached to the chassis, we're going to remove those. I don't want to feel like removing this strip because I don't know how it comes off exactly, and I don't want to just cause any issues. So we're going to leave that attached, but take the board off so that we can get access to the buttons. Okay, so now we have all our screws right there, the board and everything over here, and we have this piece. Kind of figuring this out as I go. I think there's some of this that we have to get rid of. I want to see what I can keep on and what screws. All right. So as I'm continuing, I'm learning how to get the buttons out. I tell you, it feels very disconcerting because the buttons come out in 2 pieces together. Let me make sure that's right. So, yeah, the mushroom is up. So you actually take your tool and you kind of push through and push the button through, and it comes out. You think it's broken at first, but actually in multiple little pieces. Look at that. I don't know if you can, where's the camera at, like that. But you can put them back together. I took a picture beforehand so I know exactly which buttons are which to put them back in the right sequence, so that when I turn on, for instance, my seat warmer, I don't turn on my defroster. It's a little bit different. Oh, it's already on. There we go. So you got to be very careful here. Paying a lot of attention to what I'm doing. And for your rockers, which I'm actually ordered these, I'm going to have to take this back apart again because it's going to take a few days and I was bored today. But these are a little different. They have these 2 little pieces right here. You see 1 and then 2. And you're just going to push down on one and then push down on the other. Not too much until it becomes loose enough where it's all very nervous. What's happening? Oh, by the way, you gotta release these, I believe. So also these little tabs here, these little tabs are, you see there's like a little something retaining them. You gotta open those up so that they're not retaining anymore. Otherwise they'll keep it from coming loose. So I'm gonna do that now. Kind of just very gently with everything we're doing. All right. It's a little difficult. There. Let's keep going back. All right, and there we go. A nice clean piece to work with. And of course, we're going to kind of try to cut these holes back in here and make that look really nice, because you still need it to be able to breathe and I guess detect the temperature or whatever that thing does usually. But let's get started. We're going to first clean this piece. So how's it going? Pretty good. I still have to heat the gun up and get these corners and a couple other places to stick down. I started putting them back in some of the buttons. They're going back in, thankfully. But I know you're going to say, what about this over here? Why don't you replace? I have that coming. Again, this is a trial run. I'm going to probably end up doing this piece again because this is actually a technically difficult piece to do. Just because of these contours over here, which I have to put a little bit more heat on to get them nailed down, and also just cutting each one of these out. I wanted to go through this test run and see how it goes, but I think it looks pretty cool. And we'll see what the finished product looks. We'll see if it's good enough for me to stick with it, or if I will rip it out and do it one more time with the learning that I'm doing it for the first time. So after putting everything together, this is what we have. And I think it turned out very nice. All my buttons are working. All my lights are on. Can turn it down if I want to. And that's the desired look. I wanted something that made this look more factory, because the silver just, it wasn't working for me. The silver was just like too much 1980s, 90s Toyota, Nissan Cressida or whatever, Toyota Cressida. It just was, it looked cheap. And I think that this forged carbon wrap actually looks a lot better, to me at least. And right now, let's look at it again with some light. No, it's the wrong button. Here's some light. Oops, wrong way. Boom. Has a really cool texture to it. I'm replacing that button, so this is actually going to come back out again as soon as it's delivered. I just was so impatient, and I wanted to try this out first that I did it. It's a glossier finish and everything else here, but that's okay. That's okay. I think I'm also going to do this here next, and then of course I'm going to do this piece right here, and then I'm going to see if I can tackle, when I get bored one day, this whole entire piece. And I think that will start to bring some unison to that upgrade, and go from there. All right, so real quick, guys, this is the finished product. Look at that. It looks pretty good. I painted the bottom here red with Plasti Dip just because I was trying out a color. I want to see how it looks, and I think it looks absolutely fabulous. The biggest thing with this wrap is that you have to make sure that you preheat it and stretch it first before you apply it. That was the thing I learned, especially on this wheel with the curves. I think it just looks amazing the way it turned out, and even right here for the center knob. So glad I did this project. So glad I took the time for $12 to get it done. Talk to you guys next time.